I tie one final pink balloon to the fence post and step back to admire my creation. The backyard radiates magic, if I do say so myself. The picnic table boasts 9 pink place settings, each featuring a coordinating napkin artfully folded into a crown. The bounce house, a lavish $275 investment that made my credit card cringe, stands proud and ready, its princess turrets sparkling under the October sun. On the dessert table, the Pixel Princess cake, inspired by Lila's cherished video game, sits surrounded by 9 candles, all standing tall. Perfect, I whisper, though nobody's there to hear me. I check my watch for the 3rd time in 5 minutes, 11:42. Mom and my sisters should have arrived by now. They promised to come early to lend a hand, but just like always, that promise vanished like morning dew. Suddenly, the sliding glass door squeaks open behind me, and Lila bursts into the yard, twirling in her stunning new birthday dress. The purple fabric, her royal color, glimmers in the sun as she spins around. Mom. Is it time? Is it time? She bounces on her toes before freezing, her eyes surveying the empty backyard for familiar faces that are not present. Where's Grandma? And Aunt Delilah and Aunt Lacey? Are they bringing Tyler with them? Have they seen the bounce house yet? I inject brightness into my voice. They're on their way, sweetie. They must just be running a bit behind. Lila's expression drops for a fleeting moment before she manages to regain her smile. Okay, I'm going to watch for them from the front window. With that, she dashes back inside, and I bite the inside of my cheek until I taste blood. I should have known better than to anticipate their punctuality or attendance, for that matter. The doorbell rings, and I hear Lila's excited squeal from within. I rush around the house just in time to witness her face drop as she opens the door to find only Aunt Carol standing there, a wrapped gift tucked under her arm. Happy birthday, sweet pea! Carol exclaims, bending to hug Lila. My daughter returns the embrace but peers around Carol's shoulder, scanning the empty driveway. Is Grandma coming with you? Carol stands upright, locking eyes with me over Lila's head. I notice a flicker of anger on her face before she shifts to smile down at my daughter. I came alone today, sweetheart, but look what I brought you. She extends the beautifully wrapped gift adorned with a bow that probably took her ages to perfect. That's Aunt Carol for you, always so detail-oriented. Thank you. Layla replies, her voice small now. She hugs the package tightly and glances back at me. Mom, can I add this to the other presents? Of course, darling. The party's set up in the backyard already. As Lila races into the kitchen, Carol steps inside and closes the door. Eleanor and the girls aren't joining us, are they? She queries, not even trying to lower her voice. My phone buzzes in my pocket before I can respond. Pulling it out, I already know what to expect. Don't be dramatic. It's just a kid's party. We'll make it up to her at Christmas. My mother's words scorch the screen. Just a kid's party. Just my kid's party. I suppose that's your answer, Carol observes, noticing my expression shift. She gently squeezes my arm. I'm so sorry, Zara. The doorbell rings again, rescuing me from having to reply. Parents start bringing in their daughters. 8 little girls in party dresses, all holding gift bags and birthday cards, flood in. My neighbor from across the street shows up with foldable chairs and a cooler stocked with juice boxes. 2 doors down, Mrs. Wilson delivers an extra tray of finger sandwiches along with a kind smile. For the next hour, I navigate through the festivities as if underwater, taking pictures, serving cake, and overseeing the bounce house. Throughout it all, Lila glances toward the gate, her eyes lighting up each time it swings open, only to dim when yet another classmate arrives instead of her beloved grandmother. When are Grandma, Aunt Delilah, Aunt Lacey, and Tyler coming? She asks for the 10th time, tugging at my shirt as I replenish the snack bowl. I'm not sure, sweetheart, I reply, smoothing her hair. But look at all your friends who are here to celebrate with you. She nods and rushes back to the bounce house, yet the slump in her shoulders reveals the truth. This isn't the first time my family has disappointed her, and some deep-seated part of her 9-year-old heart knows it won't be the last. My thoughts drift to last Christmas, when I maxed out my credit card on gifts for everyone, $8.40 worth of presents I couldn't afford, all because family matters. Just 3 months ago, I covered Delilah's salon rent when she was short $1,650 that I probably won't see again. They always say, Zara can handle it, she's great with numbers. Great with numbers, as if that magically equals an excess of cash. Since Dad left when I was 20, Mom has treated me like a living ATM. You're the head of this family now, she proclaimed the day after he departed, as though his leaving promoted me to his role as the financial provider. My phone pings again with a new notification. I glance down and feel my stomach churn. Delilah has shared on Instagram a snapshot capturing her, Mom, Lacey, and Tyler cheerfully raising mimosa glasses at a posh brunch in the heart of downtown. The caption states, "Family first." Family first. Right? Mom? Just then, Lila's voice cuts through my musings. She stands by the gift table, flanked by her friends, eager to unwrap presents. I quickly slip my phone away and force a smile. Ready for your birthday moment, Lila? The girls gather as Lila excitedly opens her gifts, thanking each friend with heartfelt gratitude. Yet, once every present is revealed, she gazes up at me, her voice quivering slightly. Did Grandma forget my birthday? The question pierces my heart. I open my mouth, grappling for a response. When Aunt Carol intervenes. Your grandma just has a really poor memory sometimes, she says, giving Lila a wink. But that could mean a surprise later on. Lila's face brightens at this thought, and the vibe shifts as the girls dash back to the bounce house for one final jump before their parents arrive. Carol gives my hand a comforting squeeze. This isn't right, honey. I nod in silence, unable to voice my feelings. Once the last friend has left, I retreat to the kitchen with a stack of dishes, letting quiet tears fall as I scrub each one. Out of the window, I see Aunt Carol aiding Lila in trying out her new sidewalk chalk, both leaning over a rainbow coming to life on the driveway. My phone buzzes again, another text from Mom. Need $350 for a family emergency. Can you send it today? The plate in my grip shatters as I clench it too hard. Staring at the message, I notice the timestamp, 3:48 p.m., right amid the party she chose to skip. Something inside me snaps, like a dam I've been holding together for years. I set aside the broken shards, dry my hands, and linger on the text a moment longer. The time for tears has passed. A week later, my phone vibrates against the counter while I prepare Lila's lunch, a peanut butter sandwich cut into triangles, apple slices arranged in a smile, and a sweet note with a tiny heart. Simple gestures meant to reassure her that she's cherished. The phone buzzes again, then again. The family group chat. I wipe my hands on a dish towel and pick it up, my stomach already knotting with tension. 1 week after the birthday chaos, I've hardly heard from anyone. The screen lights up with a message from Mom. Big news. Delilah's Sweet 16 venue is booked. $1,850 per guest, with Zara covering Grandma's portion since she's on fixed income. Details attached. I nearly dropped my phone. Sweet 16? Delilah is already 26. Mom must mean Sweet 26. Lacey follows up with clarification. Theme is, second chance at Sweet 16, since her actual one was at the VFW hall. My fingers tremble as I open the attached PDF. There, in vibrant print, is a sponsorship page featuring my LinkedIn profile picture labeled under Platinum Sponsor, Zara Allen. Wait, what? I stifle a curse, conscious of Lila's small footsteps padding down the hallway. Another text pops up from Lacey. Zara, you're the accountant. Just handle the deposit. Deadline is this weekend. It's not a request, it's a command. Mom? Lila appears in the doorway, holding a Lego piece. Can you help me with the spaceship? In a minute, sweetheart, I say, my voice sounding odd and distant. I watch her shuffle back to her room, shoulders drooping in a way that's becoming all too familiar, just like at her birthday party, just like every time my family makes hollow promises. When Lila's door clicks shut, I take a seat at the kitchen table and check my banking app. The balance stares back at me, $4,213.47. Every dollar designated for Lila's upcoming braces. On the counter, a stack of medical bills from when she fractured her arm 2 years ago reminds me of the costs. Insurance covered most, but the $1,200 deductible wiped out my emergency fund. I even sold Grandma Rose's silver ring, the only heirloom I possess, to pay for the ER visit. Grandma Rose, who taught me how to balance a checkbook when I was just 10, would be appalled by how her daughter treats her granddaughter. My budget spreadsheet is open on my laptop, color-coded and precise to the penny. Rent, $1,025. Utilities, $187.32. Groceries, $420. Car payment, $315.76. After-school care, $240. The margins are tight, but we manage. Our small 2-bedroom space may not be grand, but I've created a home, clean, cared for, safe. I scroll through old Venmo requests from my family. Last month, $650 for Delilah's salon emergencies. The month before, $420 for Mom's new patio set. Last Christmas, $840 for family gifts. None repaid, none acknowledged past a quick thanks, sis text. My mother, Eleanor, has mastered the art of financial manipulation, wielding guilt like a limitless credit card. After all, I sacrificed raising you girls all on my own, she'll claim, conveniently forgetting it was her endless spending that drove Dad away. At just 26 years old, my youngest sister Delilah is running a salon that is bleeding money quicker than she can change hair colors. Every hiccup becomes a full-blown financial crisis, demanding immediate cash. Each loan is just a temporary fix, but somehow, next month never arrives with relief. Then there's Lacey, at 24, always seeking the next opportunity, drowning in credit card debt from online shopping splurges well beyond her means. Whenever her financial messes arise, they somehow transform into my issues to resolve. Suddenly, the doorbell rings, jolting me from my spiraling thoughts. I've got it. Lila exclaims, dashing to the door before I can intervene. Aunt Carol's warm voice greets us in the entrance. Hello, sunshine. Is your mom around? Carol enters the kitchen, arms brimming with a casserole dish. Her gaze sharpens as she catches sight of my face. What's wrong? She inquires, placing the dish down. I silently turn my phone toward her. As she reads the text, her lips tighten into a thin line. They really have some nerve, she murmurs, settling into a chair next to me. Especially after missing her birthday. Amour no. They had brunch instead, I reply flatly, recalling the Instagram post I saw. Carol reaches across the table, squeezing my hand. Your mom has always been like this, even as kids. But you don't have to keep playing along with it. Just then, a knock at the back door interrupts us. Mrs. Wilson, my 71-year-old neighbor, waves at me through the window. I gesture for her to come in. Brought you some banana bread, she announces, pausing as she senses the mood. Bad time, she questions. Family drama, Carol explains with a knowing nod. Mrs. Wilson has been kind enough to bring me meals since Lila was born, providing support without passing judgment. She's seen how often I've taken time off for family emergencies and the endless cycle of relatives requesting favors without ever returning the kindness. Your coworker James called, Mrs. Wilson relays. He offered to cover your shift tomorrow if you need it. Told me to mention he's returning the favor. James has always been the reliable one, willing to switch shifts whenever my mom insists I be available for another crisis. Mommy? Lila appears in the doorway, clutching a piece of paper. Can I put this on the fridge? It's a school drawing titled My Family, showing two stick figures holding hands, just the two of us. A lump forms in my throat as I reach for it. Of course, sweetie. As I search for a magnet, my eyes land on the pile of thank you cards on the counter, each one handwritten by Lila for the friends who came to her birthday, adorned with carefully drawn crayon stars. Later that evening, after tucking Lila into bed, I pass her room and hear her soft voice whispering, "God, please make Grandma like me more." It feels like something inside me fractures. Back at my laptop, I accidentally stumble upon an email I wasn't meant to see, forwarded by the hotel. The contract for Delilah's Suite 16 was finalized 3 weeks ago, before Lila's birthday. They had known all along they wouldn't be able to attend. I create a spreadsheet on my desktop, documenting every Venmo request from the past 3 years. The total is staggering, $23,470. My calendar reveals I took 14 vacation days for family commitments, from hospital visits when Delilah had minor surgery to helping Mom redecorate and driving Lacey to interviews she never even showed up for. 0 days have passed when any of them could babysit Lila while I worked late. I check Facebook and see my mother's latest post, a family photo with the words, "So blessed with my girls," but I notice I've been cropped out completely. A wave of anger surges within me, not fueled by heat but a cool, clear understanding of the cycles that have entrapped me. With newfound clarity, I grab my phone and open Venmo. The next day, I find myself staring intently at the Venmo app, my fingers hovering above the screen, like I'm defusing a bomb. My mom's latest financial request blinks at me from my inbox, $1,850 for Delilah's Suite 16, plus my share to cover Grandma's portion since she's on a fixed income. As if my salary can stretch infinitely. The audacity burns through me like acid. They skipped Lila's birthday to organize this grand event. In the adjacent room, I hear Lila humming to herself, arranging her stuffed animals for a tea party, a gathering solely made up of fabric friends who never let her down. I tap the screen to initiate a new payment, entering my mother's name as the recipient, with the amount set at $1. In the memo line, I type a single word, "Congrats." My thumb hovers anxiously over the blue payment button. One tap, and everything shifts. I think of Lila's face waiting at her party, anticipating family that never arrived. I press send, and the confirmation appears instantly. I take a screenshot and save it into a new folder on my phone labeled Boundaries. For the first time in years, I breathe deeply and feel the walls of the kitchen expand around me. "Mom? Can we have spaghetti for dinner tonight?" Lila calls from the living room. "Absolutely." I reply, my voice steadier than it's been in months. By noon, I've made 3 phone calls that should have happened long ago. At 2:15, the locksmith arrives. It's Frank, a burly guy who whistles between his teeth as he swaps out both the front and back locks. The bill comes to $175, which is actually less than one of the minor requests my sisters usually make. "All set, ma'am," Frank declares, handing me a pair of gleaming keys. "Now, nobody can get in without these." While Lila snoozes on the couch, I dive into creating a spreadsheet to track every loan my family hasn't paid back in the last 3 years. The total hits me hard, $23,470. That's enough for a reliable used car, a full year at community college, or braces for Lila, and there'd still be cash left over for a family getaway. My phone buzzes nonstop all afternoon, and after the 20th text, I silence it. Instead, I hammer out an email to the hotel where Delilah's event is happening, attaching screenshots of our prior conversations showing I never gave consent for my name or business credentials to be used as a platinum sponsor. Within an hour, the hotel manager responds, apologizing for the mix-up and reassuring me that my name will be removed immediately. As evening falls, Lila and I are at our cozy kitchen table, swirling spaghetti and chuckling at cartoons on the portable TV. She bursts into laughter at something goofy on screen, tomato sauce smearing her chin. This is all I need, I think. We are enough. Suddenly, The doorbell rings at 8:47 p.m. Peering through the peephole, I see my mother accompanied by both sisters, their faces twisted in barely contained fury. "Zara Allen, open this door right now." My mother's voice booms through the door. I step back as the pounding commences. The brand new deadbolt stands strong. "Is that Grandma?" Layla asks, her eyes wide with curiosity. "Yes, but she forgot to call before coming over," I reply calmly. It's too late for visitors tonight. The banging intensifies, and the doorbell chimes over and over. "You can't hide in there forever," Delilah hollers. "After everything we've done for you." My phone lights up with notifications. "You're betraying this family. How could you embarrass us with the hotel? What kind of daughter acts like this?" Through the peephole, I see Mr. Patterson from across the street stepping onto his porch, arms crossed. The Rodriguez family peers through their blinds. My family's drama has become a show, but this time, I'm not rushing to make things right. "Should we let them in?" Lila whispers, gripping my leg. "No, sweetie. Remember our talk about respect? This isn't how you behave respectfully." The blue glow from police lights washes over the living room. I shut my eyes, knowing they must have called the cops. When I crack open the door, Officer Thompson is standing at my porch. I recognize him as he coached Lila's soccer team last spring. "Good evening, Miss Allen," he says, his demeanor professional yet warm. "We got a call about a family dispute involving threats and a family heirloom being held back." Behind him, my mother is puffing herself up like a proud peacock. She's refusing to return property that belongs to our family, she declares, and has sent threatening messages. I can feel Lila's tiny hands clutching the back of my sweater as she hides behind me, her stuffed rabbit held tightly to her chest. "May I come in for a moment?" Officer Thompson inquires softly. At the kitchen table, I show him everything: texts, emails, receipts, and even a screenshot of my $1 Venmo payment. "I've been financially supporting them for years without repayment," I explain. "I changed my locks today because I'm setting boundaries. There are no heirlooms, no threats, just me saying no for the first time." Officer Thompson reviews the evidence, occasionally raising his eyebrows in surprise. Once he finishes, he leans back in his chair. "They've grown accustomed to you taking care of everything," he observes. "Now that you're changing the dynamics, it's hard for them to accept." He heads back to the porch where my family waits, their confidence visibly dwindling as he speaks to them. Minutes later, they retreat to their cars, my mother's finger pointed accusingly at me before they drive off. After double-checking the locks, I find Lila perched on her bed, her little legs swinging over the edge. "Mom," she says, her voice a mere whisper, "am I not important enough? Is that why Grandma and my aunts didn't come to my birthday?" That question hits me like a ton of bricks. I kneel to meet her gaze, taking her hands gently in mine. "No, sweet pea, you are the most precious thing in my life. That's precisely why I have to shield you from people who don't appreciate us." My phone buzzes on the nightstand with yet another text from my mother: "You'll regret this. Family is everything." I delete it without a word and tuck Lila in, her comforter snug against her chin. "It's just us two," I smile genuinely for the first time in days, and that's more than enough. After she falls asleep, I check my phone one last time. There's a message from Aunt Carol: "You did the right thing." They're furious, but truth is on your side. Another notification from Mrs. Wilson next door pops up: "Those brownies cooling on my counter aren't going to eat themselves. You fought the right battle today." My coworker James: "Are you in need of extra shifts to boost your savings? I can cover your Saturday if you take my Tuesday." I received an email from Lila's teacher, and she seems much more cheerful this week. "Is everything all right at home?" I put my phone down and take a deep breath. Tonight, the house feels different. It feels lighter, almost as though the walls have stopped constricting around me. I've been so fixated on building a family that I overlooked the fact that a community has been taking shape around us, layer by layer, person by person. Tomorrow will undoubtedly bring its own set of challenges. But for this evening, I can finally sleep without the burden of impossibly high expectations weighing me down. My phone buzzes at 6:30 a.m., waking me before my alarm could. Squinting at the screen, my heart sinks at the sight of Delilah's name. It's not a message, it's a Facebook notification. Delilah Allen mentioned you in a post. I tap on it, already bracing myself for what I'm about to find. Her profile appears, displaying a lengthy status update. When toxic individuals reveal their true selves, some pretend to care until they're called upon to help. Suddenly, they believe they're too good for the rest of us. It seems money holds more value than memories for certain folks. The post has 17 comments, most from distant relatives and high school acquaintances I haven't heard from in ages. So sorry you're facing this, sweetie. Blood isn't always thicker than water. You're better off without negative energy in your life. As I skim through the comments, each feels like a prick. Not one person asks for my side, nor do they probe why I might have sent a mere $1. The immediate assumption is that I'm the antagonist in this tale. The bedroom door creaks open, and Lila peeks in, her hair messy from sleep. Mom? Are you okay? I lock my phone and force a smile. I'm fine, sweetheart. Just checking emails. Thankfully, she buys it and quietly returns to her room. After her door softly clicks shut, I reopen Facebook, my finger hovering over the comment box. A flood of paragraphs fills my mind, explanations, defenses, proof, evidence spanning years. Instead, I settle on 5 words. I wish you all well. Then I log out, close the app, and get out of bed. The kitchen feels different this morning, surprisingly lighter despite the social media chaos. I pour cereal for Lila, brew coffee, and check her backpack for homework. These normal routines suddenly feel revolutionary without looming family obligations weighing me down. While washing dishes, my phone rings from an unknown number, though the area code is familiar. I almost let it go to voicemail but answer at the last second. Zira? It's your Uncle Robert. My father's brother, a ghost from another life. Uncle Robert? It's been a while since your graduation. I can hear the age in his voice, a roughness that wasn't there before. I heard about what happened with Eleanor and the girls. My shoulders tense. How do you know? Small town. Plus, your mom called me trying to rally support, I suspect. A dry chuckle emanates from the speaker. Wanted to let you know that you're not the first person she's pulled this kind of thing with. The dish nearly slips from my fingers. What do you mean? Why did your father leave? 20 minutes later, I'm seated at the kitchen table, gazing at a photo Uncle Robert texted me of Dad at my 5th birthday party. His eyes appear hollow, shoulders hunched, an expression I see in my own reflection. History has a way of repeating itself, Uncle Robert had said. She drained him for years, and then moved on to you. The doorbell interrupts my thoughts. I open it to find Mrs. Wilson from 2 doors down, holding a casserole dish. Chicken and rice, she says, pressing it into my hands before I can object. The ladies from Street Marks will bring more tomorrow. Mrs. Wilson, really, that's not necessary, she interrupts me, her tone firm yet gentle. We've been observing. Some of us understand exactly where you're at. Family can be wonderful but can quickly turn into quicksand. Before I can respond, she places a hand on my arm. We're keeping an eye out when certain cars drive by, just so you know. She leaves before I can express my gratitude, the warmth of the casserole dish warming my palms. I set it on the counter and catch a glimpse of an envelope that must have been hidden underneath it. Inside, a $200 gift card rests along with a simple note, for Lila's needs. No name, no strings attached, just a gesture of kindness without any expectation of repayment. The contrast takes my breath away. I sink into a kitchen chair, tears blurring my vision. These neighbors owe me nothing. We exchange polite waves at the mailbox and engage in casual weather chit-chat. Yet here they are, forming a shield around me while family members wage war online. Later that evening, after Lila is asleep, I pull out my budget spreadsheet. For the first time in years, I recalculate without considering family emergencies. The figures shift before my eyes, revealing an unexpected extra $732 each month that had been vanishing into my family's demands. $732, enough for Lila's braces, with a little to spare. Finally, I've got just enough to build the education fund I've been fantasizing about since her kindergarten days. There's also enough for a simple getaway at the lake this summer, where she can create joyful moments without the disappointment of waiting for relatives who never arrive. I gaze at the figures on the screen, my breaths becoming more even with each passing moment. Then, I jump online and start exploring education savings accounts. After just 20 minutes, I've managed to open one in Lila's name with a modest initial deposit. It's a beginning, a tiny seed planted. The next morning, shopping for groceries feels refreshing. Although I habitually check prices, I notice I'm not crunching numbers with the same anxiety as before. At the checkout, I treat myself to a lovely bunch of tulips for $24, not for any particular reason but simply because they're beautiful and will brighten our dining area. This little act of defiance against lack brings me joy that lasts throughout the day. On Saturday morning, as I'm folding laundry, Lila ambles into the living room in her cherished rainbow pajamas, which are getting snug, but she refuses to part with them. "Are we going to Aunt Delilah's party today?" she asks casually. My hands freeze mid-fold. What? The Sweet 16 party. It was on your calendar. She shrugs her shoulders. Taylor from school is going, and her mom is pals with Grandma. I feel that familiar wave of guilt crash over me, bitter like copper, a surge of doubts creeping in. Should I think this over? Am I being too strict? Those old thoughts zoom through my mind, attempting to reclaim control. But then Lila adds, honestly, I don't really want to go anyway. Those parties are dull. You always have to wear uncomfortable clothes and fake a smile. Decision made. How about we hit the park instead? The basketball courts should be free right now. Her face lights up at the idea. Can we have ice cream afterward? Absolutely. Hours later, we're nestled in a booth at Dairy Dream, sharing a $7 sundae. Chocolate fudge drips down Lila's chin as she bursts into laughter about beating me at horse. Her joy feels unrestrained, authentic, in sharp contrast to the gatherings where she tiptoes around, craving the attention that often eludes her. A nearby woman catches our moment and asks, "Would you like me to snap a photo?" After a brief hesitation, I hand her my phone. She captures us mid-laughter, ice cream and all, our faces getting close together. Upon looking at the photo she returns, I see a chaotic, imperfect, yet radiantly joyful image, nothing like the staged family photos my mother insists upon every Christmas, where everyone wears strained expressions and striking poses. I like this much better than a fancy party, Lila proclaims as she burrows back into the sundae. And in that moment, I realize, I feel the same way. That evening, my phone buzzes with a text from Aunt Carol. I dry my hands with a dish towel and check the message. You dodged a bullet. Sweet 16 disaster, complete train wreck. A mix of curiosity and relief washes over me as I sink into a chair in the kitchen. My finger hovers over the call button, but then Carol calls me. Picking up, I quietly ask, what happened, not wanting Lila to overhear from her room. Carol bursts into laughter. Where do I even begin? They put your mother next to the smoke machine. You know how her asthma flares up. Half the night was spent with her cough and complaints. Naturally. I can envision her, overly dramatic and ensuring everyone sees her misery. Delilah had a spat with the DJ about every track. He looked ready to unplug his equipment and leave. Carol lowers her voice conspiratorially. And when the bill arrived, Eleanor's face turned whiter than that fancy tablecloth. Suddenly no one wanted to make eye contact. I carefully wound the dish towel around my finger. How much did it cost? Let's just say, they went way over budget without your platinum sponsorship. They kept glancing towards the empty seat you were meant to occupy, as if they were holding a spot for your wallet. A little smirk of vindication rises to my lips, only to be quickly squashed by guilt. I shouldn't feel pleased about their troubles. It's not troubles when you construct a party around someone else's finances, Carol retorts firmly. It's consequences. The next morning, while I'm sorting through files at work, a shadow looms over my desk. I look up to find my mother standing there, dressed in her Sunday best. "We need to talk," she proclaims, her voice loud enough to draw the attention of my coworkers. My stomach sinks, but I maintain my even tone. "This isn't the right time, Mom. I'm working." She plops her purse onto my desk, covering the spreadsheet I've been focused on. "Family comes first." I guide her gently toward the break room with a soft tug on her elbow. "Just 10 minutes, I murmur. Inside, she launches into a pre-prepared speech about forgiveness and family obligations, the very words echoing Pastor Wallace's sermons. "Speaking of Pastor Wallace," she says, adjusting her pearl earrings, "he called me after service today and voiced concerns about our family issues. He believes reconciliation is God's intent." I stare into my tepid coffee. "Did you explain to him why we're at odds?" She waves her hand dismissively. "When it comes to family, specifics don't seem to matter. But they absolutely matter to me." Later that day, I discovered an unmarked envelope in my mailbox. Inside was a handwritten note saying, "Children need their grandmother. Consider the impact of your actions on Lila." The next morning, Delilah's husband calls, urging me. "Just give them what they want," he begs. "It's worth the cost for peace, Zara." Then, an invitation for Thanksgiving arrives. Cream-colored cardstock embellished with gold accents, accompanied by a handwritten message. "It's all water under the bridge if I contribute $750 for the venue." I set it next to Lila's school picture on the counter. Her smile has blossomed over these last weeks, shining brighter than ever. After settling Lila into bed that night, I sit at the kitchen table holding an old family photograph. Christmas? 7 years ago. Dad was still with us, and Mom hadn't tasked me with managing his finances yet. We all looked happy in that moment, though I distinctly recall the disagreement that erupted shortly after this photo was taken when Dad challenged the credit card bill. My phone is beside me with Mom's name highlighted. Just one tap could reconnect us. One call could mend everything instantly. Just another withdrawal, another dent in my savings. Another promise I'd make to Lila, which I would inevitably have to break at the next family crisis. The echo of Lila's voice rings in my ears. Am I not important enough? I tuck the old photograph away in a drawer, replacing it with her school picture. The girl with that radiant, confident grin deserves far more than I ever received. The following morning, I begin drafting a letter, not an emotional appeal but a clear record. Every loan listed. Every event missed. Every unfulfilled promise, all documented with precise dates and amounts. Future communication terms clearly defined, with boundaries and consequences articulated in straightforward language. Even Delilah would get it. I make duplicates, one for Mom, one for each sister, and one for Pastor Wallace with a note explaining the financial manipulation he's unwittingly endorsed. The final sentence takes 3 tries to perfect. This isn't about money. It's about respect. I sign all copies, slide them into envelopes, and send them via certified mail. Just 2 days later, a small envelope addressed to Lila arrives. The return address belongs to Bethany Thompson, a classmate who missed her birthday party. Lila eagerly tears it open at the kitchen table, her eyes growing wide at the sight of a handmade card filled with glitter and stickers. "Sorry I couldn't come. Happy 9th birthday," she reads out loud. As she tilts the card, 3 $1 bills flutter onto the table. A note follows. For ice cream. I'm saving for a bike but wanted you to have this. Lila handles the money as if it were fragile. Mom, can we get ice cream tomorrow? Absolutely, we can. She carefully sticks the card on our fridge, adjusting it 3 times until it's just right. This is the best card ever, she exclaims. I watch her bound off to her room, the $3 clutched in her fist. $3 from a child saving for a bike, far more valuable than all the empty promises my family ever made. That evening, my phone rings with Grandma's number. I almost let it ring to voicemail but answer it on the last ring. Zara, you need to mend the situation, she states without pleasantries. Your mother and sisters are constantly arguing since that letter showed up. About what? I ask. Money, naturally. Your mom claims Delilah pushed too hard about the Sweet 16 party. Delilah insists Lacey promised you'd cover more than your fair share. They're all blaming one another for pushing you away. I shut my eyes, feeling the familiar pressure building in my head. For a moment, I contemplate intervening, mediating as I've always done. Instead, I take a calming breath. I'm not responsible for fixing adult conflicts. But you've always been the sensible one, Grandma insists. Yes, I reply, as I watch Lila from her bedroom doorway, arranging her stuffed animals for a tea party. That's precisely why I'm making a different choice now. I stand precariously on a creaky stepladder, paint roller in hand, as soft yellow paint brings new life to our living room wall. It's been 2 months since I sent that $1 Venmo payment. And the world hasn't crumbled. In fact, it feels brighter, quite literally. Mom, you missed a spot. Lila points with her brush at a patch near the ceiling. Her purple t-shirt is splattered with what looks like tiny yellow stars. Got it, eagle eyes. I reach higher, rolling paint over the stubborn white square. How's this? Better than the old beige? Way better, she replies, attacking the baseboards with the precision of a surgeon. It feels like sunshine is glowing inside. The front door creaks open, and James from work peeks in, leisurely carrying a bookshelf as if it were weightless. Special delivery, he announces. Where should I place this? By the window, I suggest as I climb down. You didn't have to build it yourself, James says with a shrug. What else would I do with my weekends? Watch golf? His joyful laughter resonates throughout our cozy little home, a sound that once made me uneasy, always anticipating my mother's criticism regarding male guests. Now, I can't help but grin as I assist him in placing the oak shelves, ensuring they catch the afternoon sunlight just right. Later on, Lila organizes her collection of books by color while I step back, marveling at our collaborative effort. My eyes drift to the fridge calendar, where Lila's quirky handwriting announces movie night for Friday and park day for Sunday. We're free from family obligations and emergency loans. The stress that had weighed down my shoulders for years has evaporated, creating space for me to breathe. Mrs. Wilson called, Lila mentions, carefully arranging her Harry Potter volumes on the middle shelf. She wonders if I can visit tomorrow for some knitting tutorials. Do you want to go? Lila enthusiastically nods, her eyes sparkling. She insists I have a natural flair for it. Then it's settled. I tuck a loose strand of hair behind her ear, inadvertently smudging yellow paint on her cheek. Oops, my bad. She chuckles, playfully tapping my nose with her paintbrush. Look at us, perfectly matched. Fast forward 2 weeks, and Lila stands proudly in front of her 3rd grade class, clutching a poster titled, My Hero. Mrs. Langston had emailed me about this project, but nothing could prepare me for the lump in my throat when Lila reveals her masterpiece. 2 stick figures hold hands against a crayon-crafted sunset, and skillfully written above, it reads, My mom taught me that love doesn't hurt. Later that evening, a note arrives from Mrs. Langston. Lila seems so much more self-assured these days. Whatever you're doing, keep it going. I pin the note to our fridge with a sunflower-shaped magnet right beside Lila's art. Christmas cards start pouring in, including one from my mother. Within, guilt oozes from every single line. Holidays should be a time for family togetherness. We've all erred. Delilah texts me next, expressing how much she misses her niece. Tyler inquires about her, followed by Lacey sending an email about a family healing retreat in Arizona. With a jaw-dropping price tag of $2,300 per person, causing me to snort coffee through my nose. I read each message repeatedly, bracing myself for that familiar twist of shame and obligation deep in my gut. But, surprisingly, nothing stirs, just a serene clarity as I compose one simple reply to all three. We've progressed. Wishing you well. Our Christmas tree, standing a proud 4 feet tall in the corner, is adorned with strings of popcorn and ornaments crafted by Lila at school. The gifts beneath it aren't extravagant, just a new sketchbook, colored pencils, and a telescope snagged from a garage sale, but they're wrapped with love, each tag inscribed in my best handwriting. Mrs. Wilson drops by with some apple cider, and James shows up with a casserole that's more cheese than veggies. Aunt Carol makes a 3-hour drive to celebrate with us, bringing homemade cookies and warm hugs. I also brought something special, Carol says, presenting me with a leather-bound album. The first page delicately reads, "Our family of 2" in her graceful script. It's stunning. I breathe out, gently caressing the embossed cover. Room to grow, she replies, glancing toward our friends happily chatting in the kitchen. Come January, I find myself attending a support group for single parents at the community center. By February, I'm back at Lila's school, volunteering once a month. Uncle Robert, Dad's brother, sends me sporadic postcards filled with encouraging messages from his adventures. We're constructing something new, one careful brick at a time. As October rolls around again, bringing Lila's 10th birthday, I plan a straightforward celebration, a picnic in the park, a homemade cake, and friends who actually show up. Then, a delightful surprise arrives in the mail, a card from my mother containing a crisp $50 bill with absolutely no strings attached. No expectations. No guilt. Just a simple, "Happy birthday, granddaughter," scrawled in unsteady script. I consider returning it but ultimately decide to add it to Lila's birthday fund. Setting boundaries doesn't mean shutting people out, it means controlling how we engage with them. That night, after Lila has drifted off to sleep, I sit at the kitchen table, penning thoughts in the journal Aunt Carol gifted me for Christmas. The words come easily. True family isn't defined by blood but by those who show up when it truly counts. I glance at our wall, where a new photo is framed simply. It captures Lila and me, surrounded by Aunt Carol, Mrs. Wilson, James, and Uncle Robert, from our park outing just last weekend. Below it, a small wooden plaque proclaims, "Our family." The house hums with tranquility, the only sound being Lila's serene breathing from the next room. I close my journal, feeling something I haven't experienced in years, home.